the skin tone that God bless you with, don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it, because God, He doesn't make mistakes. What did the ancient Israelites look like? Today we are going to take a deep dive into the scripture and see what exactly does it say about the ancient Israelites' appearance. And we're going to start in the book of Genesis in the chapter 42 at verses 6 and 7. And this is the story of Joseph and his brothers. And it says in Genesis chapter 42 verse 6 through 7. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brothers, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. And Joseph knew his brothers, but they knew him not. So it is safe to say that whatever the men of Israel looked like, the men of Egypt looked the exact same way. Because when Joseph's brothers came to visit him in Egypt to buy food, Joseph knew exactly who his brothers were, but they could not recognize Joseph because he looked like the Egyptians, he dressed like the Egyptians, he talked like the Egyptians, and he used an interpreter to speak to his brothers to make himself seem strange unto them. Next, we are going to take a look at Exodus. The chapter is 2, and we're going to start at verse 16 and go through verse number 19. And this passage says, Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the trough to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherd, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. So in this passage we see that Moses, he helped Jethro's daughters. But when they came back to their father, they said, An Egyptian helped us and delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds. So what this means, once again, an Israelite was mistaken for an Egyptian. And this once again is because Moses was raised in the palace of Egypt. He talked like the people in Egypt. And it is safe to say he looked like the people in Egypt. So we can take it so far as to say that one of the only ways to tell the difference between an Israelite and an Egyptian is language. So if an Israelite did not speak Hebrew, it was pretty difficult to tell whether that man or that woman was an Israelite or an Egyptian. Next, we are going to go all the way to the book of Judges and look at the story of Samson, a super strong man, strong enough to defeat an entire army on his own. And this story is in Judges, the chapter is 16. We will start at verse 15 and we will read to verse number 19. And it says, And she said unto him, How can you say you love me, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. And verse 17 says, That he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he has showed me all his heart. parts of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. So Samson had 7 locks, or braids, or dreadlocks upon his head. Now I have a question for you. Who, even until this day, still wear braids and are dreadlocks as a normal hairstyle, as a part of their culture? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because the people that wear braids or dreadlocks as a normal part of their culture, it is people of African descendants, and then people we now call African American. We will look at the passage in Ezekiel. The chapter is 44, and we will look at verse number 23. And this is a message to the Levitical priests. And it says, neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only poll their heads. Once again, this passage tells us that Hebrews or Israelites, they were people that had locks. So yes, Israelites, they were, and they still are, to this day, dark-skinned people. And if you want a complete history lesson, stay tuned, because I will be coming with more content like this week after week. And then if you want to get this history lesson before then, and you don't want to wait for me to get there, you can buy this book on eBay or Amazon. It's called The Constellation for the Tribulation of Israel, and it's written by Samuel. Last but not least, just in case you haven't gotten the message yet, we're going to look at Songs of Solomon. The chapter is 1, and we will look at verses 5 and verse number 6. Verse 5, it says, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyard, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. So in Songs of Solomon, the passage straight up describes the Hebrew woman that Solomon was talking about as black, as dark-skinned, as beautiful. And no, this was not just a figure of speech. Solomon literally meant that this Israelite woman, she was black, she was dark-skinned, and she was beautiful. So no matter the skin tone that God bless you with, don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it, because God, He doesn't make mistakes.